time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Deer Camp Coffee,
Buck Baits,
JPO Game Calls,
The Island Armory,
Hacker Max,
Sunrise Archery,
and C3 Better the Hunt Technology.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin tonight with none other than Dan DeFaw after a glorious weekend.
You know, it was a very nice weathered weekend. Mm-hmm. Missed the rain when we were supposed to get the rain, which was nice, and it rained at the end.
Yeah, it did.
Could have timed that more perfect by the captain.
Well, let's get right into it tonight, and let's do that. Get our intros out of the way and talk about the people who help us.
Exactly, and nothing better than starting off with Buck Baits. I tell you what, we spent the day with them, Deer Camp Outfitters, Buck Baits. We spent the day with them at the outdoor show, and if you want to go do some shopping over at buckbaits.com, go check it out. They're always adding something new. You want 20% off your order, UNJ20 at the checkout. The Packer Max. We've seen Mark Coleman use the Packer Max, and no one has ever done before.
In a very unique way.
Exactly.
Go check his page.
Yeah, check out our Facebook page.
It actually might become an ad for Packer Max.
Right, exactly. UNJ25 at packermax.com gets you $25 off your order. JPO Game Calls. No time too early to get your fall game call. Maybe a grunt call. Check out the Omni Series. UNJ10, 10% off at jpogamecalls.com. Also at the outdoor show was the Island Armory. Jay, hope you're doing good. Feeling better after your surgery. But if you want to get 10% off over there, use the promo code UNJ10, theislandarmory.com. Check it out. They always got new inventory coming in, and it's flying off the shelves. Literally. We are drinking tonight
UNJ blend.
The UNJ blend, that's right. We have our own blend over at Deer Camp. And like I said, we were with them Saturday. And if you go to deercampcoffee.com, you get 10% off your order if you use UNJ10. But I tell you what, one place that it's 67 degrees and no rain is up in Newberry, where at Cedars they have great pizza and Deer Camp coffee. And so get over there, check them out. FM 123 carrying our show up there in wonderful Newberry.
There you go.
I tell you what.
What are you going to tell me?
I'm going to tell you that Saturday we had a great day of up north. Actually, it started Friday night with Mark Coleman coming into town.
That's right.
And, he came in from Indiana. And it was, you couldn't have more perfect timing. I tell you what, you show up and 5 minutes later, he shows up.
I don't even think it was 5 minutes. I think it was more like 5 seconds.
Right, exactly. So
same thing happened with Adam Winn on the next day.
Yep.
So, and speaking of, guess who's in the house tonight?
Let's get him in the show.
Mr. Adam Winn, what is going on?
How's it going?
Man, we had some technical issues here before the show. We scrambled. 20 minutes late, 15 minutes late, so to speak.
But we're here.
We're
live.
here.
Yep.
And I was running late from work. It was just, today's been a crazy day. But we got you on, and we took care of the issues, so now we can relax and talk fishing. So
yes, exactly.
And also want to introduce you as the newest team member to Up North Journal and welcome you aboard. So you're an official UNJ guy now.
Yep, I'm excited to be a part of the team. Definitely kicked it off with a good weekend for sure. So it was a fun time with everybody. Finally got to put a face to the names. So
right, and it was just it was a whirlwind actually. Out on the water. Night over at Danny's. We were down at trade show down in New Baltimore.
It was at the New Baltimore Trade Center.
Yeah, so we got to spend 2 days hanging out with everybody. And it was a good time. It was a good time to get back outdoors, kind of get my feet grounded back in the outdoors again. It's we haven't kayaked enough this year yet. I haven't camped enough this year yet. I haven't shot my bow enough this year yet. It's just been work's getting in the way of things. So it felt good to get out and stretch our legs. It
was one of those days at the New Baltimore Trade Center, the outdoor show. Island Armory was going to be there. Deer Camp was going to be there. And you know what? With the UNJ crew arriving and all being together, it set it up for, albeit a slow show day. Actually, actually, Island Armory and Deer Camp actually didn't do too bad.
No, they did some pretty good with the sales.
Right.
And also, speaking of doing things and meeting people and being at the show and having a good day, we got to meet Mark Allen, who has actually just chimed in and says it was great to meet us all, and he's been looking forward to this show because he is a walleye fisherman. So we're going to give him the scoop, the inside and out, and the skinny of it all on Saginaw Bay. Actually, Adam Winn's going to. You're going to carry this show. I don't know if you know that or not, but you're the fishing guy, so you're going to tell everybody where we screwed up and if we did anything right at all. So,
Yeah.
So, overall impression, you met us, hang out for a day, then all of a sudden we get up to Saginaw Bay, just the whole weekend. What was your overall impression?
I mean, it was a really good time. Like I said, it was nice to put a face to the names, and it was good to meet Tony and Natalie and Jay over there at Island Armory finally. So overall, it was a really good weekend. I had a really good time. So definitely a great time. So
is it at all what you expected, or you're like, wow, I didn't expect this, or I mean, what what was your mind thinking when you kind of got your head wrapped around it after the fact?
I didn't know what to expect, but it was a lot better than I thought. So
okay.
It was pretty sweet, definitely.
Well, good. We didn't run you off.
Right?
Not yet. So, well, where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with, so we've had him on the show before, Captain Scott from the Rock and Reel 2.0.
Yeah. And
we just so happened we had a charter going out this past weekend, and we got everybody from UNJ we all went. And, Adam, you said you've been ice fishing, you've been kayak fishing. Have you ever been on a charter before?
I have been on a charter one time, and it was for salmon fishing.
Okay, so you went for
and
salmon.
That was on Lake Michigan. So that was my first walleye charter I've been on.
Exactly. So it's a little bit different. If anybody ever been on a charter, the captain and if there's a first mate, they do practically all the work. If you want to help, they'll be more than gladly to let you help, or they might even put you to work if you get a little mouthy. One or the other.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Captain Scott runs a great boat over there, a 30-footer, and I tell you what, he knows how to treat his clientele. He kept the conversation going. He talked. You started talking to him, saying, I heard you ask him, "Do you ice fish?" And then you went on from there.
Yep. Yeah. I was picking his brain a lot about ice fishing, so sounds like I might get out with him this winter, which I'm looking forward to. So.
And there were some things that you talked about ice fishing, and we'll come back to that a little bit later because I do want to ask about them. So there was 6 of us, and he put out 12 lines. What do you think about that?
That's sweet. You cover a lot of ground doing that. It's a lot different than ice fishing in one hole. That's for sure.
That was the one thing that I did notice. Running the 12 lines, how wide the setup is. I've been on one other setup before, or charter trip, but coming out and him running 6 planer boards out on each side, and I understand the science behind it. You stagger them, put them all kind of in a row on an angle off the boat. But man, we were covering some pretty good sized ground there, dragging.
Yep, absolutely.
And
I think he said 75 yards off each side, I believe.
75 yards. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that okay? So I didn't hear a number, but 75.
I believe that's what he said. I could be incorrect, but I believe it was about 75 yards.
That number 1 board was pretty far out there.
Yep.
And and really, truthfully, we got out there a little late.
Why is that?
We won't.
Oh, it'll pop up here in a minute on the chat.
We won't blame anybody for being an hour late to get out on the water. But
how many more fish would we have caught?
Could have probably doubled,
right?
Who knows?
But anyways, we got out there and he put out the first. By the time he got his set of lines, we had our first fish on in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was probably about 10 minutes.
Right? And
good size fish too.
It was. I think it was the biggest one of the night. And, of course, being the host that we are at Up North Journal, let the rookie, who's never been out on open water, and
never been walleye fishing,
and from Indiana, we let Mark Coleman take the reins. So he had a big pressure to go on. It was like getting that first fish into the boat was kind of awesome, and he did a fine job, and it was pretty cool. Scott netting that, and there you see the picture of his very first walleye, and it just you can't beat it. It was awesome, and that's kind of we thought set the stage for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it kind of did. But I have a picture here that I do want to show if I can find it real quick here.
And
right here it is. And Adam, I know you really can't see right offhand, but
I got it pulled up here on my other screen.
We're running about a 20-second, 30-second delay, so
I'll
you'll
see
it.
I'll see it here in a second.
But
yeah.
I captured you and Mark at the helm of the boat. And he's kind of showing you what's on the screen there. I mean, is he trying to school you, or are you trying to school? What was going on there?
I think we were just talking fish.
Okay.
I think we were both looking at the same thing. So
okay,
looking for those marks on that screen.
Okay, so give us a rundown a little bit about that for people who don't know that might be actually listening to the show or watching the show. Why are our graphics so important, especially in fishing like this?
Yeah, so Captain Scott's he's got a really nice one. He's got the 360-degree sonar on his boat. But most of the time, we're just running the sonar right below the boat. Mm-hmm. But that's going to give you your depth. That's going to show you all your marks of fish. It's going to show you if you're on bait fish. It's going to show you if you're on walleye. But that's a big factor in fishing. It shows you a lot of information for sure.
And we're looking for, obviously, the bigger fish on there to mark them and waiting for the rods to pop off, right?
Correct, yep.
Okay. So, yeah, I just, it was cool sitting there watching you guys kind of, chat back and forth, and I was just trying to figure out what you guys were talking about. Because I figured it was top secret because you never told us.
Yeah, just looking for those fish.
All right, who got a message? Somebody's got a message.
I think that was me.
Okay. Denise, she asked, is there live bait or lure on the lines? And we were all using, it was all artificial bait. But he did explain that we could use, some people do use live bait, but he chooses not to because you run slower, dragging crawlers, and also it dirties the boat up.
Yep.
So.
Right, and even though he can hose it off, but he would run it if he wants to. But so we're using and you guys had names for all these things. He was going through the different colors and pink lemonade and what was the other one? Purple cougar.
The purple cougar.
I think wasn't. I'm like really, but so letting Mark drive the boat and catch the first fish. I think those are some memories he's going to have.
Yeah, I wish I had him in here as well tonight so we could pick his brain what he thought.
You jump over to my computer, we can see a little clip of Mark reeling him in.
Oh, you got the video. Here we go. Let's check this out. So we'll chat while he's doing his thing. Go ahead and play that there.
Right. So there, and this is the thing. And look how calm the water was to begin with.
Did that concern you when we went out at all? The water being calm, Adam?
Not really. I knew it was going to chop up throughout the day. So, but yeah, calm waters usually is not the most ideal thing for trolling.
Okay. And why is that? Fish don't like it?
Yeah, basically, we were seeing a lot of fish right on the bottom. So,
thus the term for bobs, belly on the bottom? Okay.
Exactly.
Well, that's one thing I noticed about Captain Scott doing when we were driving out there is you can see how flat it was getting out to our spot. And he was concerned about that. He was concerned about the pressure system because there was a front coming in. And he started making calls. He was, it's something we'll discuss in the next segment when we take our first break. But when we come back, we'll talk about what his concerns with this flat water.
All right, we're going to step outside real quick, take our first break, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
All right, welcome back. Before we went to break, we were talking about...
We were talking about, as we were driving out there, it was pretty calm glass.
Mm-hmm.
And
shout out to Denny Steiner. He just chimed in here. So.
And I tell you what, he started thinking. He started thinking before that because he knew some boats that were out yesterday. His boat was out yesterday. And then he started making phone calls or texting, finding out, were we catching fish yesterday where the same spot was? Or are we moving? What's going on? He had some concerns about the weather pattern coming in. It was the pressure was changing. But he figured, let's go to the spot where I was yesterday because as long as they swim, they should be there.
Right.
And they were. You could see them on the finder at the bottom, and but that didn't stop Scott. The captain kept making phone calls, kept texting. Where are you at? What you doing? You out on the boat today? And I think, right, Adam, he called probably about 10 people?
Yeah, at least. Yep. The fishing network. That's what you call that.
Yeah, and the thing that got me about it is how open everybody was to sharing information. In the hunting world, that stuff doesn't happen per se. In the fishing world, it's nice to know that there's guys out there, and especially the charter captains, I think, it probably more so, because they're all out there trying to network together and help each other out and figure out where the fish are. And actually, I think from what everybody was saying, our boat had the most of the day.
It did turn out that way. It was when we were at number 8, we were out there. We had the most. Another boat had 3. So we were actually doing the best for a slow day. And we went over one spot and we hit 3 right in a row. What do you think about that, Adam?
That was pretty nice. That was definitely a good run right there.
Almost a true double.
Yep.
I know one was coming off and another line popped just as we were taking the fish off. So, and I think the first 6, we were 6 for 6, and we didn't miss one until I believe it was the 7th fish, which was the Indiana guy.
So,
who shall remain nameless.
The Indiana guy, which shall remain nameless. At least it wasn't my cousin who was not on the UNJ team. He was with us. He was enjoying the day fishing with us. But again, it was up to Mark Coleman to show us the way because we had a rotation. So he actually showed us how to catch one. And he was the first one to lose one.
Shows how to miss one, too.
All right? And you're right, Tammy. Captain Scott was determined to give the best possible experience. And I think he did.
Well, it just, what I liked about it was the fact that, and I've heard this about captains before, not him, but about other captains. It's like, well, it's an off day, the fish are slow, we just call it a day. Instead, he gave us a little extra time, got out there and worked his tail off, kept working, tried different techniques, tried different areas, and kept switching things up to try to make something stick, and that paid off because he put us on fish. So.
And
it definitely changes out there within a few hours, just like we saw. I mean, even on the ice fishing, you can go out there one day, limit out within a few hours. Next day, go back to the same spot, and it'll be very hit and miss. So
yeah, he said the day before they were out there for half day, they limited out in 3 hours.
They had 32 fish in just a few hours.
So I had a 4-man limit, and they were done. So, and that was the other thing that people were asking us too, was the fact what the size limit was up there, and because somebody was asking about down in Detroit on the river down there it was 15, and up where we were at there in Saginaw Bay it was 13.
Yep.
And
13 with 8. Which is a high number. 8 is a high number.
Okay, so you had 8 fish at 13, so it's
correct.
Is it 5 at 15 in other places?
Yes.
Correct, yep. Like Mullet Lake, I believe, is 5 at 15. Same with Little Bay to Knock was 5 at 15.
Okay. And
Little Bay to Knock had a slot fish, which I don't remember I think you only could have one at 26 inches.
Bigger
plus.
than 26? Yeah.
Correct,
okay.
Yep.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to hold the older fish in that are going to have more to spawn. Is that the idea?
Correct. Especially Little Bay to Knock. That is a very big spawning area for walleye up there. That's where a lot of class walleye get caught up there. So.
And why is that? What makes that area so good?
I'm not exactly sure, but from my research, that is one of the best walleye spawning areas in Michigan. So that is a very big spot.
Okay. All right.
A lot of anglers go there spring, summer, and winter to catch trophy walleye. So
Joe Okada, pro walleye fisherman, that's where he spent many a summers cutting his teeth on becoming.
That's true.
That he was a guide over in Bay to Knock every summer, and then he just got to the point where he was a pro, and it's one of the things, like you said, that I think we measured our biggest fish, and Captain Scott said it was about 22 inches. And you think about that, 26 inches. That's big fish.
Yeah, that's big fish.
So, Denise says Deer Camp could make some calming tea for Mike.
Nothing's going to calm me down.
Right?
When I get wound up. Kevin Craven, most bodies of water are 15 minimum. Saginaw Bay is the exception.
Yep.
And that's just... I mean, I think the population is so large there. They're trying to, thin it down a little bit. I mean, is that the thought process there?
Correct. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. There's such an abundance of walleye in Saginaw Bay. They're just trying to weed some of them out. So.
What's the cause of that? I mean, I know that they're spawning more. There's more fish there. I know what the cause is nature-wise, but I mean, what is allowing more fish to survive there, do you think?
I think the bait fish population in Saginaw Bay has been pretty abundant the last, 5 years, I'd say, which has definitely helped out on the walleye spawn. So
okay, so that's why they're allowing more fish to be taken and smaller fish to be taken. Gotcha.
Correct. Yep.
I was reading something this week at work one day, and they're talking about a big kill off of alewife over on the west side of the state. And somebody was concerned about it. They were talking about that bait fish, but they said that's normal this time of year.
It's a normal
occurrence.
Nature.
Yeah, normal occurrence. And somebody was mentioning that because there were so many there on the beach, they said, hey, this could be leading to a good year for not the trout, the salmon season.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Salmon season over there. So good amount of bait fish.
You know what? And everybody had a turn. Everybody caught fish. We all caught 2 at least, and we some of us had a loss. Like Mark Coleman had one. We think it was a pike coming up to the boat, and it just unhooked and was at the back of the boat. But Mr. Adam here had one on that was it was a pretty big fish, and unfortunately never got to boat it. But according to Adam, what was it?
Me and Captain Scott think it was a 10-pound walleye. That's what we're going with. So
there you go.
All I know is when that planer board took off, normally they just kind of take and float to the back of the boat, and it's like, yeah, okay, we got one on because it came out of line, and it popped. But that board, when it popped, it went down under the water. It just disappeared,
and it was at the back of the boat.
A couple feet.
Yep. Yeah, and then when you got the rod in your hand and it started reeling, you could tell you were getting into it, and then that rod just went bang. It doubled over, but it didn't sit there and dance and bounce and pop. It went over,
constant pressure,
and it just stayed over just like a lunker.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Danny, that's a big fish.
Right? Kevin Craven says they're trying to help the perch come back on Saginaw Bay.
Yep.
Who's that? The DNR?
Yeah,
is working on that.
Yeah, and which actually Captain Scott the day before actually caught a couple perch, and he was surprised we didn't.
Yeah, and
we did see a ton of bait fish on the graph when we were kind of studying it, but it was just and that's one thing the DNR you talked about that. You asked Captain Scott about catching tags fish, right?
Yes. Yep. He said he caught a couple this year, I believe. So
tagged fish.
Yes, tagged fish.
Okay, and he was also talking about that study by Purdue. They were actually doing some research there and built a man-made reef to try to step up the spawning. So let me ask you this: do you know anything about it? First off, about that project?
I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know they tried to do that to help on the spawning of the walleye. But like Scott said, that it hasn't really played much of effect. They're definitely using it as a spawning area, but not as much as they were anticipating. So
now, if they're increasing the catch that people can take home, why would they do something to even increase it more? Am I missing something, or
I'm not really sure their theory behind that one.
Or is it just an experiment? Maybe
it could just be an experiment. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a lot of knowledge on the reef they built out there, but definitely one of their things was to help on the walleye spawn. So
okay. Just for a minute here, I do want to touch on something here that actually Mark Coleman just chimed in on. Mark, what was the price of your license? Put that in the chat there if you don't mind, because we all went Saturday after we were at the trade show, and I needed a license, Tammy needed one, and Mark needed one. And I told him, well, Mark being out of state, he's non-resident. I said, just get a day license if you can. And I got my yearly, Tammy got hers. So my license was, I think, $28. I think that's what they cost, 28.
26,
28. I'm not mistaken. That's all species. I mean, you get one license, it covers everything. And, we got to talk about it. I think it was $16, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like, man, this is really $10. Well, there you go. $10 to fish out of state for the full day if you're on a charter boat. To me, it's a bargain. $28 is a bargain. Our deer license and everything is, $20. It's a bargain. And when they raise the prices, so many people were just like clamoring, oh my gosh, they're raising the prices again. I can't take this. It's too much money. Folks, I'm telling you, it's cheap compared to what it is anywhere else. Mark, what is your fishing license in Indiana? Put that in there. I know what the deer license were 3 years ago for me being out of state. It was $300, to hunt in Indiana. And I think here in Michigan, I think it's $172. if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
And it's dirt cheap compared to every place else.
And Tom Gensel's question is, he's heard that there has been some off-color fish in the Bay Area. Any of you catch? Have you heard of that? Actually,
we talked about that on the boat.
We did. Did you hear that conversation, Adam?
Yes, I did.
You want to tell everybody about what Captain Scott said about it?
He said that is a false rumor going around about the walleye. I guess there was only one picture. It was never confirmed by the DNR or anything like that. So definitely false information for right now. So.
Well, and the thing, somebody asked, was like, well, what could it have been, caused from? And he suspected it could have been an injury from another fish, and it healed up. It could have been hit by a prop from a boat, and you mean hit by a prop, it could have just been banged. It could have been slapped. Not necessarily cut because it would have cut the fish in half, but, just like a big thud. That could have caused some of that injury to the fish. So like Adam said, he kind of chuckled and goes, I've been asked that on every charter. Yep.
And he kind of gave us the background, and Captain Scott and everybody up in there seems really in tune with Purdue University being there with the reef, and going over that. So when he speaks of that nature of one picture, unconfirmed, you just got to put a lot of grain of salt into the whole thing and just let it play out. Don't go screaming off the cliff.
Well, and there was a lot of talk on one of the outdoor forums here in Michigan about that. And my first question was, well, hey, is this happening anywhere else? Is it happening over in Lake Michigan, or up in, over with Little Bay to Knock, up in that area? Are we seeing this? Is it widespread? And nobody really had any answers on it. So.
Right, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, Tammy said all of ours were healthy and white on the inside. You know what? Let's take another break. I want to talk about something else that somebody actually kind of posted on our thread that made me just think about that. So.
And just for Mike, a 1-day fishing license in Indiana is around $24.
Okay, so there you go. And that's for a resident. Right. Is that a resident or non-resident?
Non-resident.
Oh, non-resident. Okay, so we're 2.5 times the price.
Yep.
There you go. All right, we're going to step outside. We'll take our next break. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
All right, before we went to break, we were kind of talking about this, that, and the other, but there was a statement that popped up, and it was about the Tammy made it about the meat on the fish, or the fillets that we got. It was all healthy and white on the inside, because we were talking about the one picture that was found here or somewhere. Somebody said they took it here in Michigan of dark meat on the inside. Oh, okay, I'll pop that up. So anyway, with that being said, we had them cleaned, and Captain Scott cleaned them, and here's some video of it. And here he is filleting them for us. Nice job, by the way. Excellent job. But somebody asked, actually it was asked 2 or 3 times, why do we not bleed our walleye out? And I'm going to let you kind of take that, Adam.
So in the wintertime, you kind of want to bleed your fish out because you don't have a live well. But in the summertime, if you're fishing on a boat with a live well, you can keep your fish alive. So when Scott was filleting those fish were still alive. So that's the way to do it. Keep them in a live well. Keeps them a lot more fresh. So
what's the thought behind bleeding them out? I mean, what does that do? What is it? Why is it important?
Bleeding them out, it'll get, especially in the wintertime, because you don't have a live well, you want to get all that blood out of there. Your fillets will be very white when you do that.
Okay.
But like I said, when you do have a live well like that, you just keep them alive and fillet them up, wash them out like you did 2-3 times, and they come out pretty white. So
yeah, everything I saw come out was just
it was a little bloody, and then he washed them out, and they're pretty white.
Okay, all right, just wondering. I mean, because we got quite a few people asking that.
Yeah, and actually, Meat Eater put that to the test, and he actually he cooked non-bleeded out walleye and cooked bleeded out walleye, and he said he couldn't taste the difference.
Oh, Steve Ranella did?
Yes. Yep. I just read the article a couple weeks ago about that. So
okay, interesting, because I have not seen that or heard that. I watched a
He's
lot
got
of his stuff. So
yeah, he's got about a page article about that bleeding walleye and not bleeding walleye.
okay. So as far as taste, there he noticed no difference in taste.
It comes
He
down
said he said his tongue did not know the difference.
Okay.
So
it tasted good. Mark Coleman had his walleye tonight, and as you see in the video, Captain Scott was doing the fillets, then he would hand them off to Tammy, who was cutting out the cheeks. We gave all the cheeks to Mark Coleman, and he cooked them up tonight and said they were delicious, along with the fillets.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question, since we're on the topic of cooking them and eating them and bleeding them out and everything. So you said in the winter, when you're ice fishing, it's important to do that. So do you cut the head off right there on the ice and gut them right there? How do you go about bleeding out a fish?
Right in the front of the fish, there's right between the two gills,
Mm-hmm.
right on the bottom of the fish. You cut that right there, and that's the main artery.
Okay.
And it'll bleed out pretty quick, especially in the wintertime. Your fish are going to freeze solid, so
Gotcha.
it's going to take you a minute to thaw them out. So it's a lot better just to bleed them out right there on the ice.
Okay, instead of letting that blood freeze inside of them.
Correct. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Scott said he did a thing. He drills holes in the ice and makes like a live well on the ice and keeps his fish alive on the ice. So that's the way he does it. So
Okay, interesting.
yep.
Well, now, one thing I did see here in the video, and we kind of panned over to it there at one point, was one lone cheek in the bucket being in the bucket of water that was captured. Talk a little bit about walleye cheeks, because if we didn't do that, Tammy would probably come up here and smack me.
Right?
Yeah, walleye cheeks. Yeah, they're some of the best eaten off of walleye. That's for sure.
And that's the piece that's right behind the gill, or above the gill, or in front of the gill, but between that and the eye, right?
Yep, right behind the eye. Yep.
And
Yeah,
that muscle.
it's like a little fish chip.
Okay. Now that muscle does what on the fish?
I'm not exactly sure what that actually does.
Is it got part of maybe?
I'm assuming
slits?
it works with the gills. Yep.
Okay, bringing the water in and out across their gills.
Yep.
Okay,
So it's nice and tender, like bacon.
that's what she
It is
says.
very good. Yep.
Yep. So according to Mark Coleman, he said he had them and they were delicious.
There you go.
So you gotta like that. I tell you what, it just, and this was at the end of the day, the video we had, but up until this point, it was just one of those days that it just, albeit the slowest kind of fishing was kind of slow, reverse that, but it was just so much fun just to get out there and enjoy it.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what this picture is here. I'm trying to figure out. I know what the fish is, but I'm trying to figure out what are you doing.
Well, I was absolutely enthused that I caught a white bass. Some guys caught...
That was the only one.
It was the only one.
Okay.
So it was special to me because it was the only one. Two other ones caught sheephead.
Yeah, I did not put the picture of Mark in there with the sheephead, and it was really funny because he reeled up more all like, oh, it's a sheephead, and Mark, he looks like he's proud of the sheephead. It's a good sized sheephead, and he held it up and he lipped it, and he was waiting for his picture to be made with it. So I took a picture for him, but it's like, well, what do we do with it? It goes back in the water,
right? Throw it back there.
It goes right back in the water. But for some reason, we could not get him to lip hold a walleye. I don't know why he would choose not to do that. I think he was pretty smart to not put his thumb down the mouth of the walleye, so to speak.
like Captain Scott says, you'll do it.
Do
once.
it one time, that'll be it. So.
Right? And it's like one time, like if you're late to the boat one time, you get the pink clicker, and you are the clicker person.
That's right.
You are designated the clicker person.
So,
You put on the pink lures too.
there you go.
Right?
Yeah,
And-
you get to fish with only pink lures.
Right? And they were catching fish.
They were catching
They were.
fish.
Pink lemonade.
Well, there's the whole crew standing there in front of their fish before they got turned into fillets. So that was the catch of the day. So a little ragtag, rough-looking bunch we are there. But
It was a great day. It was just it was awesome. And actually the smallest one, which was on the top, was 13 and a half. And we think the largest one was about 22. So everything in between.
Yep.
And Captain Scott, he said, although we were slow catching fish, we were catching quality.
Yes. Yep. They were all decent size, good fillet size, good eating size. And with that, I mean, like if we'd got the 10-pounder, what would you have put that one back, or would you have kept that one? What would you have done with that?
That would have probably been going on my wall for sure.
Going on the wall, okay.
Yep.
Are you the type of guy that will take a fish like that and have a mount done on something like that, or is that, or do you do like the virtual type? What is your preference?
I really want to get one. I don't have one, so that is a goal of mine to get a big fish to mount. So,
but what way would you do the virtual? Take the measurements, take a picture, or would you actually take the fish itself?
I want to take the actual fish.
Okay,
Yep.
You want the
actual fish skin. Yep.
So why didn't you have that done with the pike?
I want a 40-incher.
You
Yep.
got goals.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay.
But a 10-pound walleye, that's definitely gonna go on the wall.
Okay. Is there a point where you'd say no to the walleye, putting it on the wall?
I don't know. Maybe. It'd be a hard decision for sure.
Okay.
Now,
as far as eating something of that size, an old fish, do you really notice a huge difference in the taste?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people like those, 16 to 18-inch fish to eat. You definitely can tell for sure.
Okay.
It's one of those things. It's kind of like an older deer, right?
Yeah.
You can tell. If you get a 1 or 2 year old as opposed to a 7, 8 year old,
especially if they've been eating on corn versus pine browse,
right?
Exactly.
Most of the our deer up in the UP is cedar fed and browse. Mm-hmm. So compared to a deer down here where they've got ag fields everywhere, so it just.
I know when I had that doe from Indiana, and it come right out of the bean field. I mean, it's indescribable.
It was awesome.
It's so much different than one of your northern bucks here. So.
Mark Coleman says the only thing you put in a walleye's mouth is a hook.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Smart move. See, he did learn something in Michigan. Take back with him to Indiana.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So overall, the charter trip, something that intrigues you. Do it again. Looking for something maybe a little different. Maybe west side of the state or different species.
That was a really good time. Like I said, that was my first actual walleye charter that I've been on. So that was definitely a good time. At least we caught some fish, like you said. Captain Capt definitely kept it a entertaining trip. Kept us all in good spirits. So that's what it's all about.
And you know what? He wasn't afraid to tell you anything either. You were asking a lot of questions because you told him you like to fish on the hard water and asked him about it. And basically just any question you asked, he had an answer for, and he was truthful about it. He wasn't. It's like, hey,
he was forthcoming with answers and trying to help people learn more about what it is out there, what to do.
Yeah. It's hard to find people that are informational like that. So it's nice to be able to get some information out of somebody like that. So
now, when you and I had talked, I don't know, maybe it was on last time we had you on the show or before the show, we were talking about the scariest moment, and you were out there in a whiteout. And coming back and using your GPS to get back in. In relationship to where we were at, I mean, compare and contrast as far as, the soft water, where we were at, how far out. We were well over halfway over to the thumb area.
Well, he said we were 9 miles out.
Yeah.
I think at one point, because I think it was Mark that maybe asked him how far we went. He said about 8 miles.
And looking at that, and you talked about the hot ponds and everything, is getting out there and seeing it on the soft water versus being on the hard water. I mean, just talk about maybe the differences and did you learn anything?
Yeah, it's completely different. Summer, winter out there, and even Scott, he said the same thing. Wintertime, you're looking at a bunch of white stuff. You can't tell a sense of direction. Summertime, like Scott said, he's got a landmark that factory that he knows where to go. Mm-hmm. So summertime, you can look for some visual things, but come wintertime, you can't find anything. So that's why the GPS comes into play during the wintertime. You need to have a GPS.
And you went out of Linwood in the winter, am I right?
Correct. Yeah, I usually launch out of the west side, and that's what Scott said. He likes launching out of the east side. So that might be something I will definitely start looking into and hopefully hook up with him this winter and do some fishing. So
okay, so I got to ask a question. Launching on the west side versus east side, how does that play into where you go and why?
So we get a lot of west winds in the winter. So there's a pressure crack about 1.5 miles off of Linwood every year, same spot. So those west winds push that crack open. 2 feet, 3 feet, different spots. It could be completely closed. Well, on the east side, all that ice is getting pushed over there, which is landlocking it, and you don't have to deal with those cracks as much as the west side does. So,
okay, makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Don't want to jump cracks. You don't want to go sailing off.
I've done it plenty of times. Yep.
You don't want to go sailing off to Canada, so to speak. And I guess too, the thing I learned. I mean, and I've had this happen on other big bodies of water. I mean, it happened to me 2 weeks ago over on Lake Michigan. You get up, it's calm, sunny. and within an hour, the clouds come in, you got a pressure front coming in, the waves pick up, and all of a sudden you're sitting on, anywhere from 2 to 4 foot rollers coming in, where it was calm just an hour or two ago. And that happened to us out there in Saginaw Bay. The chop come up. I mean, we were just fishing along, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, the boat's rocking.
Yep.
The clouds moved in. We were sitting right on the edge of that front. So I can understand being out there even in the wintertime when it shifts. You got to be on your game. You got to know the weather. You got to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, and then wintertime, you're getting out there before dark and staying after dark. So that's a big thing. Summertime, you're going out there in the light, usually coming back in the light. So wintertime is definitely a different game out there. So.
Well, it sounds like it's totally changed. Question coming in. We talked about tagged fish earlier. What do you do with the tagged fish when you get them?
Usually people will keep them, and then those tags, the DNR will pay you money for those tags, anywhere from $50 to, I think there's a $100 tag that you can find. It's actual wire tag that they put in there.
Just like waterfowl.
The other ones are like lip rings. They're little silver lip rings that they put on the walleye's mouth.
So they got a little jewelry on them, huh?
Correct. Yep, that's exactly what they call it, jewelry.
So you contact the DNR and then you give them the information?
Yeah, I believe you mail it into them. Yep. And then once they receive it and get all the information they need, I believe they send you a check or however they pay you out.
Nice.
Gotta like that. Get paid for fishing.
But I do know there is a $100 one. So.
Have you ever got one?
I have not. Nope.
Do you know anybody who has?
Scott has.
That's right. He did.
That's about it. Yeah, he's got a few, I believe.
Yep, he's got a few.
Yep.
Which doesn't surprise me.
Okay, so here's the question. You may know the answer, Adam. I don't know. And Dan, you may know. Heard somebody talking about this. But so we're on a charter trip. Let's just say there's 6 of us on the boat, and it's my turn up, and I take the rod and I reel in, and there's a tagged fish. Who gets the tag?
Whoever caught it.
You're the one that caught it.
His boat. He's the one that put us on. I'm just wondering how does that all work? You guys rustle for it? I don't know.
Throw it back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just throw it back in. Nobody gets it. But no,
yeah, he said if he would have broke the record, he'd have a pretty messed up cap, and that's what he said. So
that's right.
I think he'd be pretty excited.
Well, what was the talk out there? As we were going out, he was talking about the record that was caught out there. What was it? Do you remember?
Oh, so there was
15?
a 14-pound
walleye caught?
Walleye that won the tournament that he was in, but he knew of a 16-pound that was still out there that could win the tournament.
And how was that? How did he know?
I'm trying to
forget the story.
Do you remember how he knew that?
Yeah, he said that the 16-pounder was shocked in the river.
That's right.
So he knew that there was a 16-pounder out there. So
DNR was doing a study?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. And I do remember seeing that picture from the DNR, the 16-pounder.
They took a picture of it and posted it?
I believe so. There was a picture of it. Yep.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Do you know where they were shocking at? Where they do
I do not. Nope. I don't know.
Okay. I know those fish, they make their way all the way up into the Tippecanoe River. I know they'll fish all the way up into Freeland.
Right.
Yeah, yep. They might shock a whole bunch of sections of the river. So
okay. Be interesting to see that done.
Well, they'll probably do that when they're spawning, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
Probably get in different spots how many fish they think are in that stretch, I guess.
Right. Okay. Stuns them, they do their study, and then they put them back in the water.
It stuns them, they come up, they do what they need to do, and they just go back.
Let them go. All right, I tell you, we're up on our last break. I've got a question that came up. We posted it. I've not heard a lot of chatter on it yet. We talked about it on the boat, but Danny, you know what I'm talking about, right? You don't want you to call that article up that we were talking about on Saturday that I was reading?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
so, all right, we're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss this. We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
All right. So in the commercial break, if you're listening to the show and not watching, you missed us talking about gas and the price of gas and what it's causing, and putting it in boats, putting it in trucks, taking up RVs up north, taking up campers, motorcycles, ATVs,
lawnmowers.
I think for people in the outdoors, I think we're going to start to see it regress a little bit. People getting out quite as much. I know a lot of people on the camping forum right now is talking about canceling a lot of their camping in state parks. A lot of people are saying, man, there's sites open all over right now.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
so it's definitely starting to impact that. We've got a county here in Michigan where the law enforcement has already blown through their yearly budget, and they've still got, they start in October. That's when their fiscal year starts. So they're laying back on calls now. So this is really starting to affect everybody. So I can't imagine what it costs to run that boat out there, because he was running two 250 Yamaha,
330-gallon tank.
Yeah, but how much did he burn?
Well,
I wonder. I mean, we were only doing 2 mile an hour, basically once we got out there, but it's
right.
And marine fuel is not cheap either. It's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, if you're buying it on the water, I bet you it's $7, $8, $9 a gallon.
Somebody posted it was like $6.29 a gallon.
That's it?
Yep.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be a lot more than that.
Well, that's just where that person was, but
yeah,
it could be, depending on where you're at,
right.
You know how that goes with gas. So, we spent a day together on Saturday at the trade show, and Mike came across this article as we were heading home. Actually, we were heading to dinner.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up here on the laptop for you.
And the California court has ruled, and you folks, if you're watching this on the live feed, yes, it says exactly that. The bumblebee is a fish
under new
environmental law
in the state of California. The appellate court ruled. You scrolled it on me there. I couldn't read it.
A bumblebee is a fish under California law, and thus the bumblebee should be protected by the state's endangered species ordinance. Court documents show. So actually, somebody, or whatever Almond Alliance is, versus Fish and Game Commission, the bumblebee is a terrestrial invertebrate, falls within the definition of a fish.
Because fish, they're saying, certain fish are invertebrates, and basically a bumblebee is an invertebrate, so they're all classified the same, so they're classified as fish, and it should be federally protected. Okay, we always know people out there in California are always trying something to make things rough on everybody. They change laws, and that's where all the crazy stuff comes from. And eventually it trickles down, and stuff starts to seep into the soil all the way across the United States. My thought is, okay, yeah, the honeybees especially, but, all insects, the pollinators, we really need to start taking care of and paying attention to. But classifying them as a fish so they can get federal protection, I don't understand the concept of that, of why that would happen, other than the fact, what worries me, and Adam, I mean, you being an outdoorsman, I think you can appreciate this as well. They start doing this with other animals, they can start classifying, like, what if they did it with a deer? What if they did it with, with a bear or with elk? Yeah, all different species, classifying them as something where they can actually get federal protection. Well, that species is classified as endangered, so now they start taking them away.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, we of course, us to let our minds wander as we did. Well, it's now the bumblebee is on the endangered species list, so it gets a certain amount of protection. So said bumblebee decides to set up in your house.
That was, I remember that line of thinking we were talking about. Go ahead.
So now, okay, so you now have a protected animal in my house. If I were to take my can of Raid and gun it down and kill it,
you've now broken federal law.
I've now broken a federal law. So, according to how I would assume I'd have to do it, I'd have to call a professional bee person to remove them, and then they would have to remove them according to the
Federal Protection Act.
Federal Protection
law
of how to go about it and what he needs to do with it.
And probably would have to get a permit, and that said permit's going to cost X amount of dollars. And if you don't do it the right way, it's a whole barrage of issues and problems and money grab. But still, I don't understand, if they want to protect the bumblebee, why don't they just protect the bumblebee? Why does it have to become a quote-unquote fish in the state of California? That's the part that just baffles me.
You've never seen a bumblebee swimming?
I've seen a wallaby. Oh, that's a walleye bee.
Yeah.
That's why you always got to think where you live. So
right, but what I'm afraid of is they get it on a list and then they're going to run with it. Well, it's protected now. We got to do this and we got to do that. You can't tear down your house. You can't build here because there's a bee nest out there. Or excuse me.
Yeah, you can't disturb a hive, so now they got a hive in your house, so your house becomes the hive. Now you got to pack your stuff and get out. I mean,
It's
we're
not-
taking it to the extreme, I know, but
the potential's there.
Absolutely.
So you're a good one, Tammy. So you see the bumblebee nest. Do you call the fish and game warden?
Yeah.
Adam's laughing. He goes,
He's gonna hang up on you.
What? But you're right. It's a snowball effect that I'm afraid that it will be used in a wrong demeanor.
Always is.
Exactly. They do it. There's a reason they got it put on the fish list.
Well, the way things in society are now, I'm not going to go into any certain avenues, but everything is upside down. Everything was right side up is upside down. Everything was upside down is right side up. You know, it's all over the board with all things. And I'm just going to leave it at there.
And poor Mark. Yeah, you're right. If they were to protect the coyote or even the morel mushroom, you'd be bumming.
Yeah. You know, I mean, does it go to plants now?
Right?
I don't know. Made you choke?
Yeah, I'm choking up on that subject.
So there is food for thought, people. That was passed in the state of California. Obviously, it's probably going to see more legal action, but it was in the appellate court. And I guess for now, the bumblebee is a fish. So I wonder how much do you have to have a fishing license to extract them? I don't know. Interesting.
It's the potential for the good can go so wrong.
Absolutely.
I don't know how else to say it.
So maybe they'll classify us as an endangered species at some point. I don't know. Who knows?
What you got there?
All right. Well, I want to get off the bad stuff. We've got about six minutes left here.
And for anybody that's watching it, anybody that's listening, you got a package before you go there.
Oh, yeah.
Up North Journal's got a new fishing page called Up North Journal Fishing.
On Facebook.
We're going to let Adam and Tammy add it. That's going to be their little baby over there. So go on over to upnorthjournalfishing.com, give it a like, and share it, and you'll see more from Adam and Tammy over there doing what they do is fish away, and stay tuned from them.
I did put leave that up for just, you can scroll through there, but the title on it, I did put a request into Facebook to get it changed to the Up North Journal part into actually 3 words.
Gotcha.
Like it is on our page. So at some point it might change to Up North and Journal Fishing, so it'll be 4 words. So just keep an eye out. But yeah, we're turning these guys loose over there, so they're going to be able to do their thing and kind of showcase the fishing side of the outdoors.
Right.
So just one of the many things we're going to put young Adam in charge of. So what did I get myself into?
Yeah,
exactly.
No, this will be fun for sure. I'll be posting a lot on there for sure. So
interesting. I got this package today in the mail. It's in a bag. It was sealed up from the U.S. Post Office. The wrapper it was in actually came apart, so I was actually pleased that they did that. I'm surprised because I've seen other things come in.
Well, and I'm glad they put it in a plastic bag and not let the elements
get at it.
Yep,
and I think that was part of the process of this. But for those of y'all who might remember, a while back we had Bill Friedrich on, and he wrote a book called That Hunting Camp, and we had him. That was back in the winter, wasn't it?
It was spring.
Okay. Well, we've been talking with him, and he has now come out with another book, another edition, and he sent 2 of them here for us. One for Dan, one for Mike. It's called Dad, the Camp is on Fire. So these are a series of stories and lessons learned over the last 80 years at his deer camp, which is called Singing Hills. So we talked to him here, I don't know, a couple weeks back, or I talked to him, and he was telling me that this was coming out. It's actually now out. It's on Amazon.com, so get over and check it out.
And then do him a favor, leave him a review.
Absolutely. Dad, the Camp is on Fire. So I'm looking forward to plowing through this, because the first book, I couldn't put it down. Actually, I was reading when I shot my deer at your place.
Right.
And I was finished reading it when I shot my buck at my place.
Oh, there you go.
Open day of rifle season. So
read a book, get a buck.
His books are good luck. So there you go.
Sounds like it.
So, and also, I'm not sure, but we may be getting a few of these to possibly pass on to and have a contest.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't get a couple of them, and we'll do a little contest, and we'll see if we can't get them out to our readers and listeners. Maybe what really happened was the bumblebee identified as a fish now.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Anyways, the new book is out. Like we said, go check it out. We're going to read ours. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll have a little contest, and we'll have one as a prize or two.
There you go. So Overall, weekend was good. We had a great time. I'll throw the picture back up here of the fish, run through a couple more pics as we had from our outdoor weekend as we wrap up the show. But I can't be more proud of you guys and what you did this week. The fun we had. It was a great time, and I can't wait until we get back into something else and have a little fun. Because, when you cut loose for 2 days straight, you're wore out, you're tired, but when you get done, you've had a really good time, and it's all worth it. It's good stuff. So
Adam, you still you overall you still like the hard water, or you kind of leaning towards the soft water? Or are you gonna just do it's warm, it's soft, and
Yeah, I mean, I still fish in the summertime, but ice fishing is definitely my big forte for fishing. But I get out there in the summer and do a lot of bass fishing and pike fishing. So
you've been out here recently on any waters here locally?
I've only been out a couple times, unfortunately, just with weather and work. But I am going to get out this week. I'm going to go to a lake right by my house.
Okay.
So, lake not going to tell you.
Exactly. Yep.
There you go.
Lake Wish You Knew.
There you go. I love the old Indian names on these lakes around here. They're awesome.
It's perfect, right?
Yep. So I'm glad we hold on to that heritage. So now you fish from a kayak, correct?
Yes, I do. Yep.
But not
always have.
Just not on the ice.
No.
Well, you could.
There you go.
Yeah.
What kind of boat do you run?
It's just I think it's a Pacific Sun or something like that. I'm not sure. Actually, it might be the Sun Dolphin.
Sun Dolphin.
I'm not really sure.
Gotcha.
Well,
my brother actually gave it to me. So
okay,
you're gonna have to take some pictures and post them on Up North Journal Fishing.
Yes, I am.
There
Yep, I'll show you the whole setup. I'm gonna get out probably Thursday, so tomorrow.
Okay. Well, if I ever decide to venture down that road, I'll pick your brain and have you check it out, because you've definitely spent more time on a sit-on than I have, because I've never been on a sit-on kayak.
There you go.
Not in the water anyway. So I mean, I've tried them out in the store, but I've played around with it, thought about it, but it's just not yet.
Right.
So
we'll get there.
But with the price of gas, who knows?
Yeah.
I may be willing to work.
Like it was said about Mark Coleman. He couldn't get his tractor started, and he needed to use a 3-wheeler bike to pull the Packer Max around. Even Lincoln Road said, with the price of gas, that might not be too far.
Before we go, call that up.
I'm working on it right now.
Because I tell you what, you guys and gals are going to get a kick out of this. Because I'm glad I wasn't drinking anything, because I just spit it all over the screen when I saw this.
that made me chuckle. That was a good picture.
I just want to know, did he go get groceries on it too? The old 3-wheeler bikes, you see the older people pedaling those to the stores with the baskets on them, or they got a little dog in it.
How many can you say that you've seen a Packer Max?
There you go. Pull that thing full. That is awesome. That's all I can say.
I want to see the video.
Did he shoot video with it?
I don't know, but I hope he did.
I want to see how he attached it to the back. What the hookup was on it.
Actually, you know what? I think there's a bar that goes across there, and it's just a C-clip that he probably put the pin through.
Yeah.
And it actually would probably work pretty well.
So.
But there you go. There's that.
That's the Amish-style Packer Max.
Right. You got to like it. And if I scroll back up here real quick for everybody to see, you've seen the fish.
Is he tempting us with cooked goodies?
This was his meal tonight. There's his walleye. Let's see. Looks like he baked some.
Very nice.
Right? Or those must have been the cheeks. Here's the cheeks.
There you go. It's all good.
Very good.
Right?
Good stuff. All right. Well, it was a great weekend. And, like I said, I just appreciate what you guys are doing for us. And I look forward to seeing a lot more, coming off the water here from you guys. So this next weekend, tomorrow, Danny and I are heading up to TAC.
Yep.
Total Luxury Challenge.
We're taking a newbie to TAC.
So that's the reason I'm wearing the PSC tonight. So
all right, you'll see us. I'm sure we'll have signal up on the mountain. I'm sure we'll be around Facebook. We're taking my brother. First time ever he's going to be at TAC, so it's going to be a newbie.
How many arrows is he bringing?
Hopefully a lot. Well, I told him, as long as you get it sighted in, we'll be good. Just be confident in your setup. Once you get that,
that's the thing. You got to have confidence. You got to walk out there like you own it, because you can't be timid, because you start flinching and doubting yourself, you might as well hang it up.
You know what? I set my tape with a 20 and a 50, and that's where it is, and we'll range them, and that's where I'll go. And
are you rocking a slider?
Yep.
How far can you shoot out to?
100 yards.
100? Okay. Yeah, I've set up for 100, so I'll take a 100-yard poke.
Why not?
Let it rip.
That's what they're for, is we're there to have fun. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have fun at Crystal Mountain this weekend with TAC. Stay tuned. We'll probably do some live from there. If you're going to be up in the area, I know Derek Vaughn's going to be there. We'll probably catch up with him. I don't know if Kyle's going to be there. I haven't heard. Shout out to Kyle if he's watching or listening here at some point. Happy birthday, Kyle. And I think Alex Fita was going to be up there as well. I saw him post and wanting to see who was going. So, yeah, hopefully we bump into some of our friends up there at TAC and maybe catch a lunch or a dinner or something. We'll talk next week all about it. It's supposed to be nice weather.
Oh, man, you just jinxed it.
That's why.
Yep.
That's why.
Here comes the rain.
I bought a rain suit. Don't worry.
I'm taking my rain gear now.
I went out and bought a new one. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go get some frog togs. And
you got it.
That's my guarantee.
Take it and it won't rain. There you go.
Exactly.
Yep. So good weather going to be up there. So hopefully we're going to have a good time. We'll do what we can to bring you some live stuff, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we come back with most of our arrows.
Right. So with that being said, remember Up North Journal Fishing on Facebook. Go over there, check it out, share it. If you got anything fishing related, post it over there, and Adam will take care of it.
All right, that's going to do it for this week. And get out there and get Bill's book over on Amazon.com. All right, that'll do it for us this week. We'll be back again next Wednesday night, same time, 7:30. Y'all take care. We'll see you then.
This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Deer Camp Coffee,
Buck Baits,
JPO Game Calls,
The Island Armory,
Packer Max,
Sunrise Archery,
and C3 Better the Hunt Technology.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.